Okay, so this week I'm going to be playing with Martello Shops. I'm not really sure exactly where the name comes from, but the deck specifically refers to Coldotha Forge Master Stax variants. And the deck is mostly focused on using this card, Coldotha Forge Master, as a powerful threat that lets you come back from board states where your attempts at locking your opponent out don't work. So some of the examples, like the Smokestacks Espresso build, can sometimes have issues where your opponent gets out ahead of you and there's really nothing you can do. In this list, you can just kind of like Forge Master, good luck, have fun, and if they don't kill it, they lose the game almost immediately. This is the list I played the Vintage event a while back. I wrote about it, I want to say almost 2 months ago, a little bit, but looking at it, it's pretty easy to break down. You have 21 mana accelerants beyond just playing a land. You have all your free mana, your standard one-drop accelerants, and then a bunch of lands that tap for one more mana. This is pretty similar to like a Legacy Stax mana base, except instead of having to play crap like Cloudpost Vezuva, you get to play Mishra's Workshop, Tellurian Academy. You also get to play Wasteland and Strip Mine because you are definitely a lock deck more so than the Legacy deck because your mana is better and faster. And then there's Metalworker, which is sort of this oddball mana accelerant, which lets you pump up some crazy stuff involving Steel Hellkites and even this guy a fair amount of the time. Your lock pieces, you'll notice that I have less spheres and more Tangle Wires. I also think that Tangle Wire plays very well into the come from behind strategy that this deck tends to have, or tends to be able to support, I guess, compared to regular Stax decks. Tangle Wire is better in board states where your opponent gets in a couple permanents and then passes, and you just Tangle Wire, go, they tap all their stuff. And then they tap all their stuff again, you get a couple time walks out of your 3-drop. And then every turn you get to play another land, which casts another spell that does something. So beyond that, you have Lodestones, which are just the best ever. And you have 13 total threats. Blightsteel is actually shockingly castable in this deck. You have Hellkite, because that's just kind of the best catch-all kill condition guy. It flies, it kills blockers, or not blockers, return attackers, kills Moxin. I've been really impressed with that card. I've also been really impressed with Wormcoil as an anti-creature card. Though one of the things that's not in the deck that could be is Karn. The original Karn, that is, Karn Silver Golem, because it's 1 mana, kill a Mox. And it also makes all your spheres into creatures. So that card's kind of impressive. A bit more so, again, in the LD versions. And then you have Lightning Greaves as your kind of way to have busted draws. Again, you can combo out on the draw pretty reasonably. And that card's a big part of it, because you can like Greaves, a Metalworker, tap it for mana to play your Forge Master, which then gets Greaves, which then finds Colossus, which then gets Greaves, and then your opponent takes a bunch of damage and dies. Looking at the sideboard, we have this giant stack of cards that are good against Dredge, because that matchup is traditionally not the best for shops, but very easy to beat if you board right. We've got our 7 true Graveyard Hate spells, 4 cages, because that beats Oath, even though it conflicts with our own Forge Masters, whatever. If it's going to beat them, it's going to beat them. You have Ghost Quarters to kill Bazaars, and you have Pithy Needles again to name Bazaars. Ghost Quarters also double up in the Mirror Match as one of the most important cards, because they keep your opponent off lands and in turn some of the bigger cards. And then I've got this kind of split of guys. I'm just trying things out to see which things I might want. There's not really rhyme or reason here. There might need to be Metamorphs. I don't really know. Duplicates kind of for killing mirror creatures. This is kind of your end-all be-all guy against the 4 or 5 color, 3 color big spell decks. This is your anti-creature guy, and then Battlesphere is kind of your most resilient threat you can find. I really don't want to find an Inkwell, and I don't want to have to try to cast Inkwell. So there's the deck. It's pretty straightforward, and you get to play a lot of very brutal games of Magic with it. And I'm pretty impressed with that kind of Magic, so hopefully I get to have some fun.